Imagine the streets lined up with loads of palm trees, the smell of bakur in the air, Middle Eastern music playing around you, and then as you walk into the pavilion, it's a whole new world. And I mean literally a whole new world. Guys, I'm talking about Disneyland coming to Abu Dhabi, not just as a show, not just as a cruise boat, but the actual full-blown Disneyland. Yes, we're going to have Disneyland on Yas Island, where you might be aware we already have Ferrari World and loads of other great attractions. And this is going to be one of its kind. It's going to be Disney's 7th resort in the world. And not only is it going to be Disneyland Abu Dhabi, it's also going to adapt many of its shows and many of its characters to more Emirati style. Now let me explain this in a little bit more detail. The important factor here is that this is one of the gigs of Disneyland where really they are partnering up with a local company. So we're talking about the powerhouse of Miral, the same Miral that has Ferrari World, that has SeaWorld Abu Dhabi, Warner Brothers, etc. So like in China and like in Japan, this time it's not going to be Disneyland owning it. It's going to be Miral owning it, with Disneyland obviously operating it and giving us all the characters we love, the songs we love, and the shows that we love. So this is going to be quite interesting because obviously there is a significant amount of investment being made by Abu Dhabi into Disneyland there, and it will be effectively like a showcase for Disneyland in the Middle East. In Tokyo, it was the Oriental Land Company, and in China, it was the Shendi Group. So they have done this kind of model earlier where effectively a company like Miral will put in the heavy lifting and all the money and the funding behind it and be the powerhouse behind it. Now, the reason I make this blog is not to tell you the news that's already in the news, which is Disneyland is coming. But the fact is that something like a Disneyland could have a real economic impact on the community that it is in. So for example, you will have more taxis on the road, more jobs. There are estimated to be 20,000 more jobs needed, and a 30% potential jump in property values in and around Abu Dhabi. Obviously, you're going to have more footfall in the malls. You're going to have people planning their holidays. These days, many of the Disneyland and Disney World locations have become difficult for people in Asia and the Middle East to access. Number one, visas are a problem. Number two, there has been security reasons why people can't travel. Number three, there's a huge backlog of Schengen visas in the UAE, which seems to be unresolved for a crazy long period of time, which means that having Disneyland here at your doorstep in a place which is child-friendly, super safe, and so much more accessible for Asia and the Middle East. Again, this is a great impact on the economic situation in and around Abu Dhabi. So whilst we think theme parks are great fun and we've all been to many and we all celebrate all of these things, my point here is that it's a great move by the UAE and a great move by Abu Dhabi, again, to look at many ways to diversify its oil income, many ways to improve and bolster the tourism and the crazy amounts of tourists that we're already seeing here. And we'll see how this pans out. But personally, I'm super excited. What's also super interesting is that in line with Expo 2020, where everything was so much more modern and there was a lot of sustainability, again, here you have AI-powered rides, you have solar-powered canopies, and you have a lot of different plans around Disneyland Abu Dhabi, which means that it would be a net 2050 kind of energy sustainability goal. And you also have a lot of AI and modern elements thrown in. But on the other hand, you also have an Emirati element thrown in. So it's not going to be a copy-paste kind of Disneyland, but it's going to have halal food, gender-specific areas, stories about local culture, local characters that have come out of the various cartoons and things that have been locally generated. So it's embracing the local culture, it's bringing world-class Disney, and it's also promoting all of those things we hold very dear to our hearts, which is all of the family values and all of the cultural values we living in the Middle East very much cherish. And I wanted to end this video on a note that whilst we're talking about this and whilst this was in the news, I actually had a friend from Japan show me photos of her son's wedding. I was in Japan a few weeks ago where I made a blog, and she was saying she was about to have a son's wedding. What I did not realize is that her son and her daughter-in-law were obsessed with Disneyland, and the wedding was actually in Tokyo's Disneyland. They had Mickey Mouse, and several characters participate in the wedding, meet all of the guests, and everything was Disney themed. So hey, the sky's the limit when it comes to Disney. Thank you so much for watching Think Tank this week.